We'll begin this week's FoldGuild with a 3-part sequence inspired by Viking architecture, beginning with the turf hut design, which is our simplest fold to begin with. All we need to do is just establish a shallow degree of fold with our thumbs just stroking the general spine on either side of our structure, whilst at the same time using a digit to hold the back and caress it forward. You'll see it will just want to jump forward as you do that, and then progressively you just need to press the back of your card forward until you have the full collapse. And that is actually a very simple actuation to achieve. So our second fold in the series is the hall design, which is just one generation more complex than the first. But again, the same principles apply. Just use a little bit of cajoling from behind with one of your digits, and it will just want to pop forward, but don't overdevelop this first degree of folding until you address our second generation of fold here in the background. And you can just focus in on that by just concentrating on your digit on that part, and just pressing it forward will want to make it pop right into place. And again, you just need to fold it flat. Our third and final part of the series, the number 3 fold in this sequence, is the Great Hall. And in this case, you will have more complexity with the staircases in the foreground, so more generations to focus in on. So let's just begin again by folding the background first until it protrudes to a shallow degree of fold. And then we can start zooming in on these areas here in the foreground. This will be more tricky by quite a few degrees than the first two, because you will need to start concentrating in isolation on these details in the foreground steps and these quite delicate areas. So you just need to establish a shallow degree of fold with your first generation, and then just press forward this little gateway door entrance up to about that much of a development. But here you will find that there is a tricky little recess that you will need to push backwards. So you're trying to do two things at the same time. One, press forwards, but at the same time just using a little bit of tweaking with your finger from the back to kind of develop this first tiny little step just in that doorway right there, whilst holding down the card. I mean, this is quite a delicate procedure, and make sure you just go very slowly with it. Take your time over it rather than rushing anything. And once you are here at this stage, you can just press it a little bit forward, further developing the progression. As you can see, it's almost imperceptible, but we have almost reached a 90-degree stage here. And finally, probably our most delicate areas here in the foreground, in the shape of this foremost stair or step. And this, we just, using our nails, just push from behind, almost stroking with the tip of our nails, whilst keeping the tension in the paper from the front. And as you can see, it would just want to come forward. If I just zoom in on that, you can see it better. If you're finding this progression a little bit too tricky to start off with, you could increase the scale of your design. You can add up to about 25% scaling, so these elements become slightly larger. And once you reach this stage, whilst keeping the tension in the paper and pressing from the back, you will see that it will eventually just pop forward. You can use your thumb to kind of push in from the front whilst supporting the back of the piece in your hand. And now it's time to start the eventual collapse. And you want to do this supporting all the different planes in the piece, taking special care in the front. So a lot of fingers in coordination, and eventually you will get the full collapse. And as you can see, all our shapes are fully developed, and these little delicate stair elements are very crisp, and it might take a couple of goes, but it's very rewarding eventually when it works out at the end. So this is it for this week's FoldGuild. See you again next weekend.